Today, I'm going to show you how to create an AI avatar that you can use as a customer service assistant for your online e-commerce store. We're going to be setting up a voice agent in a Shopify store and giving our voice agent access to our products using an MCP server. Once we're all done, it'll look a little something like this. How's it going?
Hello, I'm doing well, thank you. How can I assist you with Gym Fit apparel today?
Do you guys sell any blue hats?
One moment while I check our online shop for blue hats. We have a blue hat available for $2. It's a nice blue hat featuring a panther design. If you need further assistance or more details, feel free to ask.
Yeah, do you guys sell any white jacket?
One moment while I check our online shop for white jackets. We have a white jacket available for $89. It's a thick jacket, perfect for the wintertime, cozy and suitable for any occasion. However, it appears that this item is currently out of stock. If you have any other questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome. If you need anything else, feel free to ask. Have a great day.
How does it actually work? Well, first up, the user speaks into the Next.js frontend. Then that real-time communication is handled by the LiveKit cloud. We're going to be using Deepgram to transcribe our speech to text. We're going to feed that into our AI agent, pass over to GPT-4o to give us a response. And our voice agent is also going to be able to understand our intent for the question we were asking and pass that to an MCP server. In our case, we're going to be using Zapier. And we're going to hook our Zapier MCP server up to our Shopify store, so that if I were to ask the server, hey, are you guys selling any blue gym shirts? We are going to access a tool call from our Zapier MCP server to look at our Shopify products, see if we are selling a blue gym shirt. And we will return a result from this tool call, which we will give back to our AI agent to then respond to us in natural language. So what's happening is we are asking a question through the front end. Our agent is parsing what we are saying and figuring out if it requires a tool call from the MCP server. It's going to look at our Shopify store, find us an answer, return that in the tool call, and our AI agent will be able to communicate with that with us. So let's start building. So first, head over to Google, and LiveKit already has a repository to get started with a voice agent that has access to MCP. So search up LiveKit examples and go to their GitHub. Now, the one we want is the basic MCP. So scroll down to the repositories and search up MCP. And click on this basic MCP one. Now, what we want to do is we want to clone this in our code editor. So click on this green code button and copy this link for the repository and head over to your code editor. Now we're in our code. I'm going to be using Cursor for this. So I went ahead and opened a new window. I'm going to click on Open Project, and I'll click on New Folder and call this EcomAgent and hit Create. And we're going to run git clone and paste in that link that we just copied. Now we have this repository and this basic MCP folder, so cd into it. All right, now let's open it up to see what they gave us. So they gave us this MCP client directory, which is the most important thing, which allows our client access to the MCP server. Then they have this agent.py file, which if you watch my videos is the heartbeat of the agent. It basically sets up all the functionality, the entry point, the session greeting, the room, and allows us to join a room with that agent. The first thing we want to do is install all of these requirements. They already include a requirements.txt for us, so we're just going to install that. But before we do that, let's set up a Python virtual environment. So run the command python 3-m venv. And on Mac, in order to activate this virtual environment, you can run the command source venv/bin/activate. And now we just want to download these requirements. So the command to do that is pip install -r requirements.txt. And the reason we have this Python virtual environment is it's basically a folder where we are installing all these requirements that we're going to be using locally. We can just go through this repository step by step. So we already see that we cloned the repository, we cd'd into that basic MCP folder, and we installed all of our requirements. Next, we have to configure our API keys. Specifically, we need our OpenAI API key, our Deepgram API key, and our Zapier MCP URL. So we're going to be using OpenAI for our LLM responses as well as our text-to-speech model. So I'll show you how to grab that API key right now. What you're going to want to do is go to platform.openai.com/API keys. And if you don't have an account, just create one really quickly and then log in. Once you're logged in, it's going to show you this API key dashboard. You can just click on create new secret key. I'm just going to call mine EcomAgent, and I'll click create secret key. And now you don't get to see this key again, so make sure to store it in some secure place. I'm going to copy this, and let's head back over to our code. And like the doc said, we need a .env file. So go ahead and create a file called .env. And I'm going to write an OpenAI underscore API underscore key and paste that key in. Now let's go back to the browser. The second API key we need is our Deepgram API key, and Deepgram is the model we're going to be using for speech to text. So it's going to be transcribing what we were saying in order to feed it to the LLM to generate a response. I'll show you how to do that right now. Just Google Deepgram API key, and usually it'll be this link right here that says creating API keys in Deepgram's docs. Once you're on this page, you can just go to the top right where it says free API key and create an account and log in. That's free to do. So I'm going to log in with Google. On this left-hand side, click API keys, and I'm going to click create a new API key, and I'll call my EcomAgent, and I'll create this key. I'll click I know I can't access this key again, copy it, got it. Now let's head back to the code so we can paste it in. All right, now for our second key, we're just going to write in Deepgram underscore API underscore key and paste in that key. Now there's a third one we need, but that isn't necessarily an API key. It's a URL for our MCP server. In order to get that, Google Zapier MCP. Now, as of right now, it's completely free to do so. So click on this first link that says Zapier MCP and click on get started. Once again, you're going to have to create an account and log in. So once you get here, click on new MCP server. And for the client, make sure you have other selected because we're going to be using this in real time with our voice agent. And you can name it anything you want. I'm just going to call mine Ecom MCP server just to have a little more specification, and click on create MCP server. So now we're just going to connect to this MCP server, and in order to do so, go to this connect tab right here. And instead of streamable HTTP, make sure you have single server entry selected and copy this URL for the server URL. Now let's head back to our code. So write in Zapier underscore MCP underscore URL and paste that link in. Back in the repository, now that we have both of our API keys that we need in our Zapier MCP URL, the next thing we need to do is just test out our agent in the console. And in order to do that, you just have to copy this command, Python agent.py console. And using the LiveKit CLI, it's going to summon our voice agent in the terminal. So let's copy this command and head back to our code editor. All right, so let's run our voice agent. But before that, I want to go through this agent.py file and explain it a little bit. First off, we're making our necessary imports like our speech to text models and our LLM like Deepgram, OpenAI, and then Celero's used for noise cancellation. We are loading our environmental variables, and then we are declaring this class, which is called function agent. In this class, we're declaring our voice agent. So we're saying you're a helpful assistant communicating through voice. Use the available MCP tools to answer any questions. Now I'll show you how to assign those MCP tools in just a second. But right here, we're just loading the basic pipeline. And then we have this LLM node function, which helps our agent speak when it's making a tool call. So for this instance, we want to find information about our Shopify products. So we're going to have a tool call to fetch that information. And while it is making that tool call, it's going to say, sure, I'll check that for you. Now down here is the entry point of the function, which is setting up the room that we're going to meet our agent in. We are connecting to our MCP server here. And if you can remember, we selected single server entry in Zapier, and we are passing in our Zapier MCP from our environmental variables. Then we are declaring our agent with this function agent class and passing in our MCP server so that it can access the server and the tools that come with it. Then we're just connecting to the root and starting the session and kicking this off with a command line wrapper. All right, now let's test our voice agent, and the command to do so is Python 3 agent.py console. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I assist you today?
Can you just tell me a fun fact about San Francisco?
Sure. Here's a fun fact about San Francisco. San Francisco is home to the iconic Golden Gate Bridge, which opened in 1937. It's considered one of the wonders of the modern world by the American Society of Civil Engineers.
Got it.
The bridge.
And can you just tell me, who do you work for?
I exist to assist users like you by providing information, answering questions, and performing various tasks as required. I'm here to help.
Got it. Thank you. Cool. So we see our voice agent is summoned to the terminal when we run the Python 3 agent.py console command. Now let's give it some extra functionality by editing its tool calls in Zapier. So let's head back to Zapier to edit the MCP server. All right, so what you can do is you can go to Shopify.com, make an account for free. They'll give you a free trial for a few days. As you can see here, mine ends in a couple of days, but you'll be brought to this dashboard. Head over to products and you can add your products like you have it on your store, or if you already have an existing Shopify store, it's even better. As you can see here, I added a few products like a white jacket, gray shirt, and blue hat, but don't mind the picture for the blue hat. It's something different. I just used a random image for it, but I added these 3 products right here. And you can see here, I added a title, a description, a picture of this jacket. I added a category, a price, and then a product organization. And I did that for all of these products, as you can see here. So it's the same thing for blue hat. I said a nice blue hat with a panther on it. So you can go into Shopify, make your own store for free and add your own products for this tutorial, like I said, or you can use your existing Shopify store. Now, the way we're going to connect it to our MCP server is go to where it says online store, and then you can click on view your store right here. And this little prefix before myshopify.com, you're going to want to copy that and then head over to Zapier. And we need to add a tool to access our products in Shopify. So right here, click on add tool and you can search up Shopify and it'll be this first one right here. And you can click on find data. What we want to do is find information about these products. Click on find data. And what we want to do is find products by title or handle. That's the tool we want to use. And so this is a tool that our MCP server is going to have and give to our voice agent to access in real time. If we click on configure, I already connected to my account, but as you can see, it's that first prefix that I had in my Shopify store. And for the product title, we're going to have AI generate a value for this field. So if we tell our voice agent we're looking for a blue hat, it's going to be able to understand what we were asking for and send that as our query for our tool call. So let's save that. This is an example of a tool call you can use in Shopify. Let's go back to Shopify. I want to show you guys the other options. So let's say we actually had a store and we had some orders. Mind you, I set up a fake one, but we can do find order, get fulfillment orders. So you can figure out if your order is shipped, if it's delivered, if there's something wrong with it. They have take actions. So if you want this not for the customer end, but for yourself, you can do create product variant, create draft order, create gift card. There's a lot of different things you can do, but MCP and Zapier and really any MCP provider in general makes it very easy. All you have to do is click which tool you want. And as long as you give your voice agent the correct URL and set up the MCP client, you can use that in real time. So let's go test this out. So what we can do is add a script really quickly, just saying you have access to a Zapier MCP server, which accesses Shopify that can search for products in our online store. When customers ask about specific products, use this tool to find real-time information. For the product search flow, the customer is going to ask, do you have blue t-shirts or find me workout leggings? In this scenario, we're going to ask something like, do you have a gray long sleeve shirt? We're going to respond, one moment while I check our online shop. And then we're going to use this MCP tool to search Shopify for our products. And then if the tool finds anything, it's going to say we have blank for blank price. And there's going to be a description needed if available. Then we also gave it a role. You are a helpful gym fit customer service agent. This is just an e-commerce store that sells gym fit apparel, even though I have 2 random products in there. It said, when customers ask about products, always check our actual inventory through the MCP server rather than guessing. And keep responses factual and based on real product data. Now, if you want the full actual prompt, I included it in my GitHub repository in the description. So head on over to there and you'll have full access to this. Now let's pull up our terminal to actually test this agent out. So run the command python3 agent.py. Console again. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I assist you today?
Looks like I got this error here that function agent cannot use the word say. So let's check that out really quickly. And this was causing the issue for me. So just delete that and activity in tool call detected. Okay, so now let's save this file and instead of override the LLM node to say a message when a tool call is detected, just say override the LLM node to handle tool calls. So let's say that. Hey, do you guys sell any white jackets?
One moment while I check our online shop for white jackets. We have a white jacket available. It's a thick white jacket, perfect for winter, cozy inside, and fits any occasion. However, it seems to be out of stock at the moment. The price is $89.
Sorry, I had another question for you. Do you guys sell any blue hats?
One moment while I check our online shop for blue hats. Yes, we sell a blue hat, which features a nice design with a panther on it. It's priced at $2, and we currently have it in stock with 2 units available.
Awesome, thank you. So we see that our voice agent can use our MCP server to find out information about different products in our Shopify shop. So let's go take a look at our Shopify products to see if it got them right. And if you go to our white jacket, it correctly got that we have none in stock, and we could see it said $89 for the price, which is what we have down here. And it fits the description, which I said is cozy for the wintertime. Let's go back. And then I also asked about the blue hat. Now this picture is not of the blue hat. It's actually the picture of the stock analyst that I did last week, but I just said it's a nice blue hat with the panther on it, which I got right. So we know that we can access our MCP server using the MCP tools that we set up. But now let's go back to the code and let's make our prompts a little bit better. All right, and I updated the prompt. Now you can get this from my GitHub repository like I mentioned, but let's just jump right into it. I said, you are a friendly customer service representative for Gym Fit Apparel. You help customers find products and answer questions about policies. You have a couple of tools, Zapier MCP, so you could find products by title or handle. And then I also say before using these tools, just say one moment while I check our online shop so we don't get that split in the conversation when it's checking our Shopify store. And then I also give it access to a knowledge base. In a previous video, I hooked up to a Pinecone assistant. But right here, I'm just listing example FAQs right in the instructions itself for a little bit of simplicity. I also said for the MCP server integration, you have access to this MCP server. I gave it an example product search flow. So we ask, do you have any blue t-shirts? Find me workout leggings. We're going to respond, and then we use the MCP tool to put in our search query, call the API, and then we're going to get a response through our server. I gave it a couple of customer service guidelines. I put in a little pronunciation here because it was mispronouncing Jim and it was saying Jime for some reason. And then here are my example FAQ questions, and then we get right into the pipeline here. So that's it for setting up the voice agent with access to the MCP tools. Now it's actually time to set up our AI avatar, and for that we're going to be using Bithuman. Bithuman is a service that makes cartoon AI avatars, and they have one that kind of looks like a Pixar hacker, so that's what we're going to be using. So let's head back to the browser, and I'll show you how to get set up with everything. So back in Chrome, head over to bithuman.ai, and Bithuman has really cool cartoon AI avatars. So click on Create Agents, and they also give you some free API keys to work with in the beginning, which is nice. So head over to Community, and I like this hacker sort of Pixar style that they have. So click on it and then click on Share. And what we're going to do is just download this model to our computer. So click on Download Model right here. And then in another tab, Google LiveKit Bithuman integration. And it's usually the first link that pops up right here, this integration guide. So if we scroll down, the first thing we need to do is install the Bithuman plugin. So let's copy this and then head over to our code editor while our model is downloading. And then in the terminal, let's paste in that command and let that install. Let's head back to the browser to see what the next step is. And let's scroll down. We do have to set up our Bithuman API secret in our .env file. So let's head over back to Bithuman and click on developer in the top, on top right here. And then we have our API secret right here, which says API. So just copy this key and head back over to your code. Now in our .env file, let's write in Bithuman _ API _ secret and paste in that key really quickly. Okay, so let's save that and head over back to the browser to see what the next step is. All right, now let's look at the usage. So we have to import the Bithuman plugin from LiveKit, and we also have to set up our avatar. So just copy this avatar declaration, copy it, and head back to your code. All right, so in our agent.py file, we need to import Bithuman from our LiveKit plugins. Let's save that. And we also need to initialize our avatar. So let's scroll down here, and we're going to be doing that right above where we initialize our agent. Down here, just paste in this avatar is equal to bithuman.avatar session. Model path is equal to this. Now we're not using Albert Einstein. We have to use our hacker from its present working directory on our computer. So I'm going to change this really quickly. So I'm going to put the present working directory to get to my downloads folder and to get to this hacker model that we just downloaded. Next, we just have to start the session for the avatar. It's a similar function to the session start function. Under this session variable, we're just going to paste in this avatar.start method. And now we're going to test this out in the LiveKit playground. Do was grab our LiveKit API key. So head over to livekit.io and click on start building and log in. LiveKit is completely free to use, so you don't have to worry about paying anything right now. What we're going to do is head over to settings and then click on API keys and just create an API key really quickly. I'm going to say EcomAgent and click on generate key. And on this environment variable square, just copy that and close this window and head back to your code. Now in this .env file, paste in these LiveKit environment variables, save that. And then to actually test this agent, we have to run a different command. It's time to test this agent, but we can't test it in our terminal because it won't be able to stream the video of our avatar. So we're going to test it in a place called the LiveKit Playground, which is just a UI that LiveKit offers in order to test and work with your different voice agents. So go to the terminal and run Python 3 agent.py, but instead of console like we've been running, you need to run dev. Now just let this run and don't close it. Head over to the browser and I'll show you how to access the LiveKit Playground. Now just search up LiveKit Playground. It's usually the first link that comes up. So click on it and then click on the project that you made for your API key. In my case, that was Stock Expert, which I'm still using from last week, but it's still a project that I'm using. So I'm going to connect to it. Now, I'm going to turn my camera off and switch up my mic really quickly. And it usually takes about 10 seconds for the agent to connect because it has to connect to our MCP server, make sure we're connected, and load our Bithuman model that we downloaded on our computer. So it's going to take a little bit of time to do that, but it should meet us pretty soon. Hey, how's it going?
Hi there. It's going great. Thank you for asking. How can I assist you with Gym Fit apparel today?
Yeah, do you guys sell a blue hat?
One moment while I check our online shop for blue hats. We have a blue hat available for $2. It's a nice blue hat with a pamper on it. If you're interested, you can find it in our online shop. Let me know if there's anything else I can help you with.
Yeah, do you guys sell a white jacket?
One moment while I check our online shop for a white jacket. We have a white jacket that is perfect for the wintertime. It's cozy inside and fits any occasion. The price is $89.00. However, it looks like it is currently out of stock. Please check back later or let me know if there's anything else I can help you with.
Got it. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to reach out. Have a great day.
All right, and the last thing we have to do is set up the front end. So Google LiveKit Next.js Quick Start. And click on this first link, Next.js Quick Start, and we can just go through this document step by step. So the first step is running the command npx create app with the name of our app. So let's copy this, head back to our code, and create our Next.js app. So we're in our basic MCP folder, but I think it's a better idea to run our whole front end in a separate repository. So for that, we're going to cd out of this, and now we're just in the EcomAgent directory that only has the basic MCP folder in it. And here's where we're going to run our command to set up our Next.js front end. So I'm going to run npx create next app, and I'll call this ecom front end. And we could just press no for TypeScript, yes for ESLint, no for Tailwind CSS, no for source, yes for app router, no for TurboPack, and no for the import alias. Now let's just wait for our app to install. I have this ecom front end directory in our basic MCP directory as well, and that's almost done getting set up. All right, now our front end is created. We can see created ecom front end at this directory. So let's clear our terminal and close out of our basic MCP directory. And let's open up this ecom front end. We can see we have our ecom front end with a few different directories and files, as well as a README. Let's head back to the docs to see what the next step is in setting up our front end. Next, we need to install the LiveKit SDK, and we'll do that using Yarn. So copy this command right here. And let's head back to our code. So back in our code, let's change into that ecom front end and make sure our virtual environment is activated. And let's paste in that installment command with Yarn and wait for our packages to be added. We're installing the LiveKit Server SDK, the React components, and some different styles for React to use. And while that's waiting to be done, let's just go ahead and create a .env.local file. This is how our front end is going to create to our voice agent, which we set up technically on the back end. So create a .env.local and just drag in your LiveKit API keys from what we already have in our .env file. So for my case, I'm just going to copy these and paste them over like so. Okay. So I'm going to save that. Let's head back to the docs. We have to add 2 different pages to our code, and I'll show you what those are. Okay, so now that our keys are set up, we have to create our token endpoint. This is how we're going to connect to that API. So save this file right here, this route.ts file, and we have to make a couple of directories and this file called route.ts. So what we're going to do is head back over to the code, and inside this app directory in our front end, we need to add a new directory called API. And then in that directory, we need to add a new directory called token. And then that is where we're going to create our route.ts file. And we can just paste that in right here. Okay, so save that and let's head back over to the docs. If we scroll down below that, we have to make a new page in our web app called page.tsx in this room directory in the app main directory. So let's copy this and head over to our code. Okay, so let's go in the app directory and we needed to create that room directory. And then inside of that room directory, create our page.tsx and let's just paste in what we had. Okay, cool. So let's save that. And we said we don't want TypeScript when we were initializing our project, which we should have done, but let's just rename this to JSX instead. Okay, so let's save that and head over to the docs to see what the last step is. Now we just have to start the server and we'll use yarn dev to do. There's one more thing we have to do before running the front end, and that is to install the LiveKit client. Now I know it's not in the docs, but it's necessary in order to spin up a Next.js front end for our LiveKit voice agent. So just paste in the command yarn add LiveKit client and let that install. Before we run this in our LiveKit room, you're going to have to add two things to the page.jsx, which is in the room directory that we made inside of the app directory. First, you're going to have to add this line here at line 20, which initializes the use state for our token. So we are passing in our URL from our environment file. Then also you're going to have to add what I have at line 38, which is the set token with the data.token variable. Then we need to add to our .env.local file next _public _livekit _URL. And copy this LiveKit URL you have here and also paste that in this environmental variable as well. Now that we have that done, we can test our agent in our Next.js front end. So let's pull up the terminal. Let's run the agent by running Python 3 agent.py dev. And let's also make sure to run the front end. And the way we do that is by using yarn dev. Now let's head over to localhost 3000. And we want to go to the room that they offer. All right, so now if we click start audio, our AI avatar assistant should show up and we should be able to speak with this avatar agent in the Zoom-like interface that LiveKit provides. How's it going?
Hello, I'm doing well, thank you. How can I assist you with gym fit apparel today?
Do you guys sell any blue hats?
One moment while I check our online shop for blue hats. We have a blue hat available for $2. It's a nice blue hat featuring a panther design. If you need further assistance or more details, feel free to ask.
Yeah, do you guys sell any white jacket?
Moment while I check our online shop for white jackets.
Yeah.
We have a white jacket available for $89. It's a thick jacket, perfect for the wintertime, cozy and suitable for any occasion. However, it appears that this item is currently out of stock. If you have any other questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you need anything else, feel free to ask. Have a great day!
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If this tutorial helped you out, let me know in the comments, or if you need any help, I'll be happy to reply. I have a cool new tutorial coming out, so I hope to see you in the next one.